Welcome to Obi-Wan Studios. Today we are going back to 1999 for this LEGO Star Wars review on the 7121 Naboo Swamp. This is as old school as it gets for LEGO Star Wars, and since it is the 25th anniversary of both LEGO Star Wars and the Phantom Menace, I wanted to do a video on one of the first Phantom Menace sets ever. The Naboo Swamp released April of 1999 for $10 and retired at the end of 2000. Today, sealed in box, you will spend about $80 on it according to Brick Economy. The box art on these older sets is just so nostalgic with that LEGO system logo. You have all the gold writing and then the larger LEGO Star Wars logo on the front as well. I just love the look of these classic LEGO Star Wars boxes. The back of the box on this one is a bit plain. It shows an alternative build with kind of an odd looking speeder bike, and then you have the droids Jar Jar and Qui Gon all just kind of hanging out and building together. Kind of interesting, the overall design of the box art on the back. Alright, it's time to unseal a 25-year-old set, and if you appreciate me opening up a LEGO Star Wars set from 1999, please give the video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, I tried my best to open the box with the box cutter as carefully as possible, but this was one of those times where that didn't go totally according to plan. I think the glue was just extra stubborn after 25 years. Inside the box, we have the instructions manual along with some promotional flyers. It's certainly a bit of a time capsule of what LEGO was like back in 1999 when they just were promoting the new Star Wars theme. There are also two bags for the build with a 6x16 blue plate and Qui-Gon Jinn's cape loose in the box. Starting off with our minifigs, we first have Qui-Gon Jinn, this being back when we had the yellow skinned minifigs, of course, and this Qui-Gon I will just always love. It's kind of funny to me that we are using the exact same hairpiece essentially for him 25 years later, but hey, it really does look good. His face print is that classic Qui-Gon, which I really like. The body print as well is very basic. There's no back printing as well, waist or leg printing, but this is just par for the course going this far back into LEGO Star Wars history. I really do love the chrome lightsaber hilt too. That's just another awesome aesthetic to these older minifigs, these older Jedi minifigs. Qui-Gon, really just a great classic minifig that I always will have a lot of nostalgia for. Next is Jar Jar Binks. This again is just that classic Jar Jar in LEGO Star Wars form. His head mold looks just very good for 1999. It was crazy good for 1999 and really made him just such an incredible minifig overall for the time. Obviously, the lack of printing on it is what really makes it show its age. You don't have any eye printing or any detail on the print, especially the back. But hey, again, this is just the original look for Jar Jar, and I personally love it. Lastly, we have our two battle droids. These things are the definition of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 25 years later, and the B-1 battle droids have only had one small change with the addition of the turned right arm, so it's at an angle to hold the guns a bit more properly. But other than that, LEGO just really nailed the design of the battle droids from day one, and honestly, that's pretty impressive. These guys do have a little 2x1 piece to go on their back for the control ship antenna as well, just for some added detail to the B-1 battle droids for this set. Moving along to the builds now, we have the very first staffs ever introduced in LEGO Star Wars. And honestly, even by today's standards, I don't think they are that bad. They are very simple, but again, the theme of this review is that this is the classic look, and they didn't have a lot of pieces to make more complex shapes and just overall builds, especially with LEGO Star Wars now. They just didn't have a lot of the pieces that we have today to be able to build more complex staffs even. But by today's standards, it's obviously just not as refined and definitely a lot smaller than staffs we get now. They do look really great though with the taller, clear stance to give them some height over the minifigs as they're flying over the swamp. You know, these are the classic staffs, and I'll always appreciate them for being the original staffs in LEGO Star Wars form. Now, the actual swamp build is also, as you would expect, very simple. There's really not much going on here at all, but the build does have the charm of those classic LEGO colors. There is a blue plate for the bottom to represent the swamp water with a shell on the side, which is kind of an odd addition in my opinion. The remainder of the build, to me, I interpret it as two kind of smaller tree stumps, fallen down trees with some vines and vegetation growing on them. That's what it kind of looks like to me. Overall, it's a very small kind of build for the Naboo Swamp, but for 1999, I think it looks pretty good. Now, while the build on its own certainly doesn't look like much, and that's honestly because there isn't much to it at all, but when you do throw Qui Gon Jinn in there, deflecting some blaster bolts from the staffs while protecting Jar Jar, you do get a very nostalgic version of the scene, which, by the way, to me, it's a slightly odd choice for a LEGO set, but it is the first time we meet Jar Jar Binks and really see the staffs, so it does make for a cool small versus set, which is really how I interpret this set. You have Qui Gon Jinn and Jar Jar Binks versus two battle droids on the staffs, a little small nostalgic versus set. Now, do I think this set is worth buying today in 2024, 25 years later, the anniversary of The Phantom Menace and LEGO Star Wars? Honestly, I really don't personally, unless you're a really big fan of The Phantom Menace, if you're really into the history of LEGO Star Wars, or if you just have that nostalgia for the early years of LEGO Star Wars, this is a cool set, but there is not a lot going on. So unless you're kind of into those things, I really don't think it's worth adding to your collection. But hey, let me know your thoughts on the set in the comments down below. Thank you for watching my review of the 1999 7121 Naboo Swamp. If you enjoyed the review, please leave a like and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, as that just helps a new channel like mine grow. Take care, and I will see you on the next LEGO Star Wars video.